Hello Year 2, welcome to week 4, day 2 maths learning today. So we're going to do something very similar that we did yesterday, but instead of finding halves of a fraction, of a whole, we're finding a quarter of a whole. So just recapping from yesterday, when we split things like this into a half, we drew a line down the middle, so there were 2 equal parts. So it's all about equal parts. To understand that, fractions are equal parts of a whole. So when you have a half, you are finding 2 equal parts of a whole. Now, when you're finding a quarter, you are finding 4. You're splitting it into 4 equal parts of a whole, okay? So again, if I'm going to split this, let's pretend it's a chocolate bar again, so you really have to think about sharing fairly and splitting fairly. I'm going to split it into quarters. So visually, I'm going to just think really carefully about what my quarters are. And actually, it might be easier if I split it into half first, and then I can half it again. I'll show you what I mean. So here is my half, there, okay. Then, because I need to split it into 4 equal parts, I'm going to use this line to help me. And I go, that's going to be one of my parts here. Is that equal now? I've got 1, 2, 3. It's not quite equal, is it? So I need to now draw this one here. If I look here, I've split it into quarters. There are 4 quarters here. And when I've got 4 quarters, that makes a whole. But when I'm just finding 1 quarter, that is just one of my quarters. I've split it, and what I did, I split it in half. And if you split it in half again, that makes a quarter. So I've got 4 equal parts. So that is 1 quarter there, 1 quarter there, 1 quarter there, 1 quarter there. Okay, you can show it in another way. You could show it, I'm just thinking with a rectangle, you could show it like this. Now this is going to be hard. I should really be using a ruler. There. And I can do a line here as well. And I could do a line here as well. Can you see that these are also split into quarters, but it's just a different way of showing how you can split a chocolate bar or a shape into different equal parts. As long as it is in 4 equal parts, then you've split it into quarters. So there is a problem though. Some people think, okay, imagine if you had chocolate and someone said, do you want half? Do you want half or do you want a quarter? And when you see those two there, you think, oh, that one, because it's got a bigger number. But have a little think. Would you rather half a bar of chocolate, or would you rather 1 quarter a bar of chocolate? So if you had a quarter bar of chocolate, it would be that size. If you had a half of the bar of the chocolate, it would be that size. I know which one I would rather have, and it would be the half. So just remember this. The higher the denominator, this is the denominator. Just going to write it in, denominator. The smaller the fraction. The lower the denominator, the bigger the fraction. So if you've got an older brother or sister and they're trying to trick you saying, do you want a quarter or do you want a half? Always go for the lower denominator, which would be half, because then you'll get more. Okay, so your challenge, like yesterday, is to find things that you can try and split into quarters. Okay, so I've got a post-it note here. Okay, now I'm going to fold it into half, just like I did with this. I split it into half, and then I'm going to split it in half again, which turns it into 4 equal parts. There we go. And then you can see, if I open it up, you can see the creases here. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 4 equal parts, okay? It's been split into 4, so that's 1/4, that's another quarter, that's another quarter, and that's another quarter. And you can also see a bit of equivalent fractions here. 2/4 is the same as 1/2. Interesting. Imagine if you had chocolate. Again, I've got my Toblerone, my trusty Toblerone here. So what I'm just going to move this down a little bit more. What you're going to do, you're going to split it into equal parts. Now, there are 2 different ways that you can do this, just like we did with the halves, is you can visualise it. You can sort of think, well, that's probably half, and these are probably my quarters, okay? But you can also count to see if you've got the same in each one. So I've just said that that was my quarter because I'm visualising, I'm seeing that if they're equal parts, I've got 1, 2, 3. Then I said that this bit was going to be the next bit, 1, 2, 3. Then I've got 1, 2, 3. Oh, and 1, 2, 3. So I can cut these up, 1. And then I can do this one as well. There we go, so I've got that one, got that one. I've got these here. So I've split it, my Toblerone, into 4 equal parts, okay? Sort of that was half, okay? But I've split it into 4 equal parts. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And they all look the same. There are the same amount of mountains in each one, okay? So a quarter of this is 3 mountains, okay? You could also do it with pasta shells and share it with 1 for you, 1 for you, 1 for you, 1 for you. But this time I'm not going to share it between 2 people. I'm going to share it between 4 imaginary people, okay? So 1 for you, 1 for you, 1 for you, oh, 1 for you. Oh, they're all moving, wiggling. 1 for you, 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 1 for you. Oh, hang on, what have I done? 1 for you. And then 1 for you, 1 for you, 1 for you, 1 for you. So I had 16 pieces of pasta. I have shared them all out, and you can see that each of them here have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4 in their group. So they are equal groups because they've all got 4. So doesn't matter if you're finding a half or a quarter, the learning objective is still the same, to understand that fractions are equal parts of a whole. And it doesn't matter if it's chocolate, if it's pasta, if it's a piece of paper, if it's anything else that you can find, you have to split them into equal parts. And when you're finding a quarter, you are splitting it into 4 equal parts. And remember that misconception, the higher the denominator, the smaller the fraction. The lower the denominator, the bigger the fraction. So if you are asked if you want a half or a quarter of cake, you always want the half, okay? Right, I hope that was interesting. I want you to then go around your houses and have a look for anything and try and split it into quarters. Now, I did give you a challenge to see if you could split every number with halves yesterday. And I'm going to tell you what the answer is for yesterday. For halves, you can only halve an even number. So that is numbers ending in 0. Oh, that looks like a 6. 0, 2, 4, 6, and 8. You can't share or split in half an odd number. 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. So no, you can't do that, but yes, you can do that. Now, to split things into quarters, I want you to have a little go at investigating what numbers can be split into quarters. It's not odd or even. Well, it sort of is, but I'm not going to give anything more away, okay? Your challenge, if you would like the challenge, is to find out exactly what numbers can be split into quarters, okay? Right, enjoy. Bye bye.